Good morning. My name is Gabriel Sade Fantauzzi, as was mentioned. I am honored and humbled to have been invited to speak at WCC's 2020 Virtual Academic Recognition Ceremony. The use of the word virtual, isn't that amazing? Who would have thought? So for today's opportunity, I thought of speaking about graffiti and how I used that artistic skill to start a business. I thought about speaking about my other successes using skills that I started to focus on and hone here at WCC. But those stories may be too specific and art may not be interesting to everyone. So if any of you would like to know more about those stories, you can find my Facebook, my Instagram, and email behind me on the top right. Instead, for this brief opportunity, I have decided that I wanted to speak to each and every student and faculty member at a common level we can all relate to. Today, I hope to inspire you, to motivate you, and to deliver a message and remind you all of a practice that you can carry far beyond this great milestone. The current COVID-19 pandemic has thrown us all into difficult times, like none of us have ever seen in our lifetimes. Every situation, every circumstance, and every challenge that life is, as each and every one of us has come to know, has been upended indefinitely. What I would like to speak about today is about trying. Simply put, during these difficult circumstances facing us today, the one thing we can all strive to do, no matter what it is to try, to keep trying, and to never stop trying. I am one of you. I am a proud alumnus of WCC. I too have been where you are now. I carried a 4.0 for my whole entire time at WCC. Today, I know that I arrived to where you are at this very moment with something that I refuse to stop doing. I got there simply by trying. How many times have you heard someone say, you have to think outside the box? Well, right now, I think it's safe to say that we are all outside the box. Today, I would like you to think of the box as what was normal, and to think of the idea of thinking outside the box as the act of trying. So my life's journey and forward motion has been one of thinking outside the box. It has been the act of applying effort, functionally and repeatedly translated into the act as the act of trying. As a teenager growing up in the burned down and crack-infested Southeast Bronx, New York in the 1980s, all of the proofs of my environment and color indicated that I would never amount to much, and/or would I ever be able to accomplish or deserve better. I was in a box. I was told I wasn't smart enough. Initially, I struggled during my early school years. I struggled to learn to speak English. I also struggled to overcome a speech impediment. And what I unconsciously, because as a preteen, I hadn't yet developed the mental discipline to apply this principle and continuously did was try. I tried to do better, to be better, to learn more. So I obsessed on doing the right things and learned to read better by reading constantly. I learned to speak clearly by speaking with whomever would listen as often as possible. The results, beyond annoying everyone by speaking all the time, was that I excelled in school, skipping from the 7th to the 9th grade. Subsequently, adults noticed, and I was invited to participate in opportunities and programs that led to better opportunities and more programs. Not realizing it at the time, I thought outside the box. I tried. After graduating from high school, I was told I couldn't start a business because I didn't have any money. With no credit history or collateral, I wasn't eligible for any loans. I was in a box. So I purchased a broken down van with $700, a broken lawnmower for $35 that I fixed, and I purchased used tools from the penny saver with money that I had saved from working at a local grocery store stacking shelves. With that as a start, I could see that my goals were within reach. So I increased my efforts, my trying. I delivered newspapers from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. for Gannett. Then I went to a job at IBM painting offices from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then in the evenings, I would drive around my neighborhood in New Rochelle, asking people if they needed their grass cut or their gutters cleaned or any painting done that I did cheaply to earn and save more money. Obviously, I was young and sleeping was not as necessary. While my friends were socializing every weekend, spending money on other customary teenage young adult pursuits, I did it differently. I didn't socialize as much. I held on to my pennies, and the result after a couple of years was that I was able to buy a couple of vans, buy the tools I needed. I left the job at IBM and I stopped delivering newspapers. I established a customer base. I hired a few employees, and I started Gabriel Fantauzzi custom taping and painting that I owned and operated successfully for 16 plus years. I built a business that fed my family, purchased my homes, my cars, put my children through college. Again, I thought outside the box. And again, I tried and it worked. On July 2nd, 2000, I left my home for an early morning motorcycle ride. I had all the intentions of returning that afternoon for lunch. I didn't return home for a year. I was involved in a near fatal accident and was hospitalized. After 13 surgeries, having my right foot amputated, and being wheelchair bound, I came home. I was told by my doctors that I would never walk again. And again, I found myself in another box. Let me add that as important as trying is the refusal to never stop trying. My doctors predicted that there was a 95% chance I would never walk again, but I didn't focus on the 95%. Instead, I focused on the 5% and that there was a chance. So I started by taking 1 or 2 steps. Then this became 10 steps across my living room and crawling back to my wheelchair. Then it was 20 steps back and forth. Then it was 25 steps to the end of the driveway. Yet I still wasn't free of the wheelchair. Then my refusal to stop trying became getting on my bicycle and exercising my legs without being able to stop until I got back to my driveway and get back in my wheelchair. If I fell or stopped, I was stuck. But I kept going. The result after 3 years was that I was out of the wheelchair. I got rid of my cane and I was walking without regular assistance. Again, I thought outside the box. I tried and it worked. After my accident, I was forced to sell my business because of my projected physical limitations and to pay a huge amount of hospital bills. Once again, I found myself in another box. So I thought to myself, what skills do I have that I can use to gain another form of employment? What skill I did have was that I was an artist with above average artistic ability. So I decided at 34 years of age to attend college for the first time, and I enrolled in WCC Liberal Arts Associate Degree Program, with my focus being on learning how to use a computer and learning graphic design, proving that it's never too late. But I didn't stop there. I continued trying and I went on to SUNY Purchase's Bachelor's in Fine Arts program. Leaving SUNY Purchase, though I had no work experience as a graphic designer, I was able to land a job at W Hotels Worldwide as a junior graphic designer. I was then promoted to senior graphic designer and then promoted to a 3D design manager. My multiple promotions led to a position as the global events manager for 11 major hospitality brands. Many opportunities for growth presented themselves, and each and every time I refused to stop trying, to give up, to not get to another level, and to not take advantage of the available promotions. The result, after 10 years, I won multiple hospitality top design awards in New York. I made invaluable networking connections that I still use today, and I traveled around the world for free. I learned more skills that I was able to add to the effectiveness of my ability to try. Once again, I thought outside the box. I tried, and again, it worked. These are a few of my experiences and the results of this idea of thinking outside the box, of trying. I feel that they are not extraordinary, other than unique to me. Looking back, my trying did not require special ability or special luck or some other exclusive outside help. What got me through those experiences and netted me the results I just illustrated was simply the unwavering refusal to stop trying. I refused to accept any of the boxes I found myself in as the final result because I didn't believe in the saying, it is what it is. And still today, more than ever, I believe and will continue to believe that there's always another way, that there's always something else that can be done to achieve another result or to reach another goal or to simply prepare myself for the next step. Like you all today, I find myself in this new time and age of awareness. We are all outside the box. I started out describing as normal. Normal is no longer normal. Just like me, from where you stand, you have your own unique vantage point of this new, ever-evolving normal. In the news and even in our government, there is this idea that returning to normal is what our goals should be. But I can't help but to feel that normal is now something to go backwards to and not something to move forward onto. Now, as in every other moment of unfortunate circumstance or change in my life, it is now thinking outside the box time. It is time to move forward. It is time to try once again. So I'll close with this. Again, I repeat, it is a given that in the circumstances we all find ourselves in today, we are officially outside the box. When you hit the end meeting button today, how are you going to think outside the box? Answering this question for yourself once with any number of actions will be your first steps in trying. Continuously answering this question through the lens of your own dreams and aspirations and goals with your own actions will make it so that you will never stop trying. So thank you, congratulations, and good luck to you all. And lastly, I would like to say, always know that the harder that you try, the luckier you will get.